Lady Mary Wortley Montagu. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? So from now on, I'll simply refer to her as Lady Mary. Lady Mary's gift for writing did not take long to emerge. She grew up writing verse and as a child called herself a poet. Later in life, she became known for her epistolary works, which is a fancy word for writing letters. In 18th century England, published letters were as commonly read as novels. They included fascinating accounts of distant travels, personal experiences, and even political and social commentary. Lady Mary was born on May 26, 1689. She was the first daughter of Evelyn Pierpont and Mary Fielding. That's right, her father's name was Evelyn. But I doubt anyone made fun of his name, as he was dubbed Earl of Kingston in 1690, giving his daughter the title of Lady. Despite this nobility, Lady Mary was denied a classical education because she was a girl. She was educated at home and showing profound intelligence, she taught herself Latin. In 1710, Lady Mary began direct correspondence with Edward Wortley Montagu, who was a British nobleman and the Treasurer of Parliament from 1714 to 1715. At the time, direct correspondence was a formal yet flirtatious gesture. Naturally, they fell in love. The pen-pal lovebirds eloped in 1712, and a year later they got married. Their son, Edward Wortley Montagu, the younger, was born on May 16, 1713. In 1715, Lady Mary joined the Literary Society of London, where she met Alexander Pope, John Gay, and many other writers. That same year, she contracted and survived smallpox, a miraculous feat in those days. In 1716, Mr. Montagu was appointed British ambassador to the Ottoman Porte. The Montagu family left for Turkey that year. The journey was long and arduous. They traveled by boat, horse, and camel. Along the way, Montagu also handled diplomatic affairs in Germany and Austria, arriving at Istanbul in 1717. It was during this journey that Lady Mary wrote the letters that were published in the Turkish embassy letters. On January 19, 1718, Lady Mary gave birth to a daughter, also named Mary. Later that year, Edward Montagu was recalled from the embassy and the Montagu family moved back to England. During an epidemic of smallpox in 1721, Lady Mary had to convince British medical doctors to inoculate her 3-year-old daughter against smallpox. She wrote an essay on smallpox inoculation, which helped start a massive campaign to legitimize inoculation in all of Britain. The disease had taken Lady Mary's only brother, and she fought the medical community for many years before she received support from the Princess of Wales, Caroline Amelia Elizabeth. Needless to say, Lady Mary's campaign was successful, and smallpox vaccines became common medical practice since then. The things she wrote. In response to events around her and indirectly to give public form to her private feelings, Lady Mary also wrote epistles, mock epics, satires, translations, essays, ballads, and songs. A few of her poems are Constantinople, Epistle from Mrs. Young to her husband, Farewell to Bath, The Lover a Ballad, and the poem A Receipt to Cure the Vapors. The Turkish embassy letters is a great example of Lady Mary's epistolary writing. The letters include her accounts of the policy and manners of the Turks, as outlined in the title page. Lady Mary shares her experience riding camels and witnessing Turkish society. Her letters are also filled with rich descriptions of the many foreign lands she visited. On one occasion, while staying in Vienna, she mentions her surprise in learning of the Austrian custom and the expectation that wives should have an official lover as well as a husband, and she was amused to find herself a topic of gossip for not commencing an amour. Heffernan and O'Quinn edited the 2013 copy of the Turkish Embassy Letters, and in the introduction, they posit that Lady Mary's surviving letter book is among the greatest achievements of 18th century literature, referring to this book as a canonical yet problematic text and the object of much criticism by her peers. Regardless of any criticism Lady Mary received, the advertisement of the editor, published with the first edition of the letters, states, "As to those female readers who read for improvement, and think their beauty an insipid thing, if it is not seasoned by intellectual charms, they will find in these letters what they seek for, and will behold in their author an ornament and model to their sex." Indeed, Lady Mary was praised for being a model of excellence and strength to the young ladies of the 18th century.